So I watched The Long Walk in cinemas opening weekend, and I have some strong opinions. Now, this is Stephen King's brutal dystopian story, written when he was a college student, by the way, and it has finally hit the big screen. But let's be real, this adaptation is already dividing the internet, and I'm here with my hottest takes and a breakdown of the wildest book versus movie differences. But I want to know, are you team book or are you team movie? Or are you still deciding? Drop your thoughts in the comments and use the timestamps below to navigate around. So, backstory time. Stephen King wrote this as a college student under the name Richard Bachman because publishers thought readers could only handle one Stephen King book a year. Plus, he also wanted to see what publishing a book under a name other than his own would do. So, imagine producing something this intense before you could legally rent a car. I mean, that is wild. Now, as you were reading, you might have felt like The Long Walk reminded you of other classics. And if you did, you're spot on, because I feel King is pulling from some major big ones here. So The Major has those Orwell 1984 vibes, where he's less a man and more a looming big brother figure, and the whole walk echoing a state that controls through fear and obedience. But it's also got shades of Huxley's Brave New World. This is entertainment as a distraction, and the masses are glued to the suffering like it's just another show. And of course, we have to talk about Lord of the Flies, because when you strip the boys down to survival, you see both friendship and savagery bloom in equal measure. And at its core, the walk is straight Greek tragedy. I mean, think about Sisyphus endlessly pushing that boulder uphill, because winning doesn't mean freedom, it just means more walking. So the result is a story that feels both timeless and terrifying. Now, I think the book works really well because one, we have relentless pacing, essentially walk or die, 4 miles an hour, no breaks, and you feel every step. I think my favorite part is the internal monologue because you are trapped in Garrity's head. He is bargaining with his own legs and spiraling with panic. We also need to talk about the psychological tension, the friendships, the rivalries, the paranoia, just everything unraveling 1 mile at a time. Another thing the book did really well is the claustrophobic atmosphere. It's an open road, but it feels suffocating at the same time. And I have to say, there's a moment where Garrity's mind starts to break, and I realized my own shoulders were tensing. I think that's a Stephen King magic right there, and something he can only achieve in book form, and it doesn't always translate to screen. So if I was rating just the book alone, I'm giving this 4 out of 5 stars. It's not perfect, but it's also very unforgettable. The book rattled me in the best way possible. But let me know in the comments, I mean, who else gets physically stressed when they're reading intense books? Like, do you have to put the book down? Do you have to take a breather? Like, share your reading experiences in the comments. Now, let's get into the movie. The film was directed by Francis Lawrence. Yes, that Hunger Games person. And I went in hoping, but knowing this was a tough story to adapt. So a couple things worked for me here. First of all, Mark Hamill as the Major, cold, commanding, a little terrifying too. I think he nailed the bit. Also the atmosphere. We got the mud, the sweat, the exhaustion. You can practically feel the blisters on your feet. And also the Garrity and McVree's friendship. I think that's the movie's emotional anchor. But I have to tell you, the movie stumbled at some bits. One big one is the internal horror, because the movie can't get inside Garrett's head the same way the book does. And for a story about walking, the pacing sometimes really dragged. And some of King's darkest ideas and themes really got sanded down. So I would rate the movie 3 out of 5 stars. I think it's a solid try, but proof that this was always going to be a challenge. But let me know, what did you think about Mark Hamill as the Major? I mean, did he nail the performance, or was it an epic fail? Share your thoughts in the comments. I mean, personally, I think he nailed it. I really enjoyed his character. All right, here's what you came for, the 10 wildest differences between the book and the movie. So let's break it down. We're going rapid fire style. And again, use the timestamps just in case you've missed anything. The first major change is Garrity's motivation. So in the book, he's naive, he's chasing glory, he's haunted by his father's absence. But in the movie, it's all about revenge because he saw the Major kill his father. Another difference is Jan, the girlfriend. In the book, Jan is his emotional lifeline, but in the movie, Jan is completely erased. Instead, it's all about his mother. But let me know, if you've read the book, were you team Jan or team no Jan? You know, share your thoughts in the comments. Another difference is Scram is hot. So in the book, Scram is the favorite, and Scram also has a pregnant wife. In the movie, completely gone. His traits are instead split between Hank and Stebbins. Another difference is Hank Olsen's death. In the book, it's incredibly horrific. He's walking with his guts hanging out. But in the movie, they toned it down, and instead we just see him bleeding out. Stebbins' fate is also another difference because in the book, he is the last to fall. He dies of fright after Garrity's vision, but in the movie, he is second to last. We see him weakened by illness and he gives up. A huge change is McVree's personality. In the book, he's sarcastic and sometimes cruel. He also has a dark backstory, but I think in the movie, they softened him a bit. They made him more a supportive character and he was a lot more queer-coded. Another difference is about the boys helping each other because in the book they vowed not to help, which led to a lot of brutal deaths. But in the movie, we see them make a pact and we see the musketeers trying to help each other. And of course, another big difference is who wins because in the book, Garrity wins, but we see him losing his mind. Whereas in the movie, McVrees survives because Garrity sacrifices himself. And of course, a difference we have to talk about is the Major's fate because in the book, he survives. He congratulates Garrity. He seems a bit shaken, of course. But in the movie, McVrees kills him with his wish, which is totally a completely different vibe. And we have to talk about the ambiguous figure because in the book, Garrity follows this dark, haunting figure, which is a pretty big deal. And it leaves the book ending on a very chilling and unresolved note. But in the movie, that is cut out completely. Instead, we see McVrees just walking into the rain on this street lined with lamps. But let me know which change shocked you the most. And do you prefer the book's haunting ending or the movie's more cathartic revenge storyline? Let me know your thoughts and why in the comments. For me, the book wins, hands down, because you are inside Garrity's head. You feel every ache, every doubt, every moment of denial. And when I finished, it felt like I walked those miles with him too. Now, the movie, I admired parts of it, but it really kept me at arm's length. Like, I didn't feel like I was in it and as invested as the book. Now, let's talk endings, because wow, these two could not have been more different. So let's get into more details, because in the book, Garrity technically wins, but it's a very hollow victory because he loses his grip on reality following a shadowy, possibly imagined, real figure, we're not sure, into the unknown. It's very haunting, it's ambiguous, and honestly, it left me staring at the wall for a minute. I was wondering, like, what is going on here? But in the movie, McVrees survives instead, thanks to Garrity's sacrifice. He even gets a cathartic moment wishing the Major dead and seeing it happen. So I felt it was more heroic, more Hollywood, you know, big film kind of vibes. So we lose the unsettling and haunting nature. And I'm really curious about what readers and viewers would have preferred. Like, would you prefer a mind-bending, ambiguous ending or this clear, cathartic one that the film delivered? You know, let's debate that in the comments and let me know if I should deep dive the ending even more. And if you want a spoiler breakdown, you know, next week, share your thoughts in the comments and, you know, I might add it to the calendar. All right, so final verdict. If you're only picking one, read the book. It is relentless, unsettling, and it will stick with you way longer than you expect. The movie, yeah, it's an okay watch, especially for the Mark Hamill performance. Again, I was here for it and the visual grit, but I just think it can't match the claustrophobic horror of the book. So my rating is the book is 4 out of 5 stars, the movie 3 out of 5 stars, but I want to hear from you. What are your ratings? Share them in the comments, but also tell me about an adaptation where you think the movie actually beats the book. I want your most controversial takes, and if you love these book versus movie deep dives, hit subscribe. Now we have lots of exciting book to screen adaptations to look forward to for the rest of the year, and even next year. It's really queuing up to be a big season for adaptations. So let me know in the comments what adaptation comparison you'd like me to do next. So share your request in the comments so I can add it to the calendar. And if you haven't already, now is a great time to like the video, share the video, tell a friend about the channel, but also hit subscribe and the notification bell so you're the first to know what's new when I go live and when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.